Minister IWAYA's press conference will begin. The floor is yours, Minister. Thank you for coming. I have a few points to announce at the beginning. First of all, regarding my visit to the United States. From the 30th of June, I will be visiting the United States to attend the Japan, Australia, India, U.S. Quad Foreign Ministers meeting, which will be held in Washington, D.C., hosted by the U.S. government on the 1st of July. Japan, Australia, India, and the United States are four countries that share fundamental values. Our objective is the realization of a free and open Indo-Pacific, and we intend to promote practical cooperation in extensive areas including maritime security, economic security, and cybersecurity. The previous Quad Foreign Ministers meeting was held in January of this year in Washington, D.C. And again, we are planning to engage in strategic and candid exchange of views between the foreign ministers of the four countries. We wish to demonstrate to the international community a strong commitment of the four countries towards the Indo-Pacific through this Quad Foreign Ministers meeting. Further, during my stay in the United States, I plan to have a Japan-U.S. Foreign Ministers meeting with Secretary Rubio, Secretary of State of the United States. And also, coordinations are underway to hold Foreign Ministers meeting with India and Australia.
Furthermore, next on evacuation of our nationals from Iran and Israel on the part of Japan, it is our strong expectation that there will be a steady implementation of the Israel-Iran ceasefire agreement. We will work on both sides for the steady implementation of the ceasefire agreement. At the same time, U.S.-Iran consultations and other dialogue so that the path is reopened for these dialogues. We will continue to make all diplomatic efforts. It is also the important role for the Foreign Ministry to ensure safety of our nationals. Up until now, from Iran and Israel, respectively, a total of 128 have safely evacuated either to Azerbaijan or Jordan. To the Azerbaijan government and Jordan government who have cooperated for safe evacuation, I'd like to express our deep appreciation. We will take all necessary measures and ensure that we have a grasp of the situation there and ensure safety for our citizens.
Thirdly, I have an announcement regarding the voting at overseas diplomatic missions on the House of Councillors election. Regarding the 27th general election of the House of Councillors, from the next day after the official announcement from 4th of July at diplomatic missions overseas around the world, including Japanese embassies and consulates, voting will begin. The final date of the voting will differ depending on each mission, but the earliest final date will be July 11th, and the latest final date will be July 14th. It is the desire of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to promote active and appropriate voting by Japanese citizens residing overseas. We thus are engaged in public communications and calling on those residents to cast their votes. That concludes my initial remarks.
If you have a question, please raise your hand, and when called upon, please proceed to the microphone and state your name and affiliation before you state your question. Sankei Shimbun. Matsumoto-san, please. Matsumoto from Sankei. On the comfort women. A statue symbolizing the issue of comfort women is scheduled to be installed in a museum in Bonn, Germany, with an unveiling ceremony expected soon. As in similar past cases, will the Japanese government request its removal? And also, not restricted to this matter, with regard to the comfort women issue, in order to win over the understanding of the international society, what kind of initiatives on the part of Japanese government would be necessary? Thank you very much. With regard to the installation of the Comfort Woman statue, it does not align with the Japanese government stance and initiatives taken so far. It's extremely regrettable on the part of the government. We have approached different stakeholders and those concerned, and we have explained our position, and we have communicated our strong concern, and we have done so with regard to Germany as well. Going forward to persons concerned, we will be calling for appropriate responses. At the same time, with regard to this Comfort Woman issue, the government's thinking and the serious initiatives that we have taken, we have seized upon different opportunities. We will be taking opportunities to explain that clearly to the international community.
Baba-san, Nikkei newspaper. Baba of Nikkei. I have a question regarding the NATO summit. At the timing of the NATO summit, dinner was hosted by the King of the Netherlands. Experts are commenting that Minister IWAYA should have attended the event on behalf of Prime Minister Ishiba. Australia's Deputy Prime Minister and ROK's Director of the Office of National Security attended. What was the reason you were not able to attend the dinner? Regarding the dinner hosted by Their Majesties the King and Queen of the Netherlands, we were explained in advance by the government of the Netherlands that only leaders will be eligible to attend. Then thereafter, it was decided that our Prime Minister will not be attending the NATO summit. And at that juncture, we once again confirmed to the Dutch government whether it would be possible to have someone other than the Prime Minister or leader attend. But the explanation by the Dutch government was the same as the previous one, and therefore, in respect of the host government, I decided not to participate.
中国新聞、宮野さん, please. 宮野中国新聞. President Trump in the United States has stated that the U.S. military potential attack on Iran's nuclear facilities would be essentially the same as the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in that they ended the war. This can be interpreted as justifying the atomic bombings and claiming that they hastened the end of the war. What is your take on this? Do you intend to protest or to take other measures to approach those concerned? On the part of Japan, as we have been stating, the dropping of the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki led to the loss of many valuable lives, and it has inflicted difficulties which are indescribable through the use of words in terms of illnesses and different problems. And so this was very regrettable in terms of a humanitarian standpoint. The use of nuclear weapons, because of its destructive power and power to kill, it does not align with the spirit of humanitarian principles. In our country, we're the only country to have expected the atomic bomb, and so it is our strong belief that the scourge of Hiroshima and Nagasaki should never be repeated. So toward a world without nuclear weapons, so we will take doable and realistic, implementable initiatives, and it's important that we accumulate this. So with regard to these thinking, we have taken various occasions to explain to the United States that we will closely communicate with the United States going forward.
Hamamoto-san, IWJ. Thank you. Hamamoto of IWJ. At the previous press conference, I asked a question, but I did not receive the response, so I'm asking again. Israel is allowed to possess nuclear weapons while Iran is not allowed to engage even in uranium enrichment. When Israel launches preemptive strike in violation of international law, only Israel's right to self-defense is recognized while that of Iran is not. This is discrimination against a non-nuclear state. Prime Minister Ishiba resolutely declared that preemptive strike by Israel is not permitted, but at the G7 statement specifically recognizing only Israel's right to self-defense, which is an unequal treatment, was signed. Japan is also a non-nuclear state with plutonium stockpile. Why did you agree to sign such a statement? First of all, Israel has the policy not to confirm the possession of nuclear arms, but we attach importance to the NPT regime, and therefore that kind of concept or philosophy of the Japanese company has been conveyed to Israel and other stakeholders. We have been commenting that Israel should become a member of the NPT, and we have been consistent in taking such a position. And we will continue our diplomatic efforts as such. Having said so, at the recent G7 summit, that was the agreement at the summit meeting, and therefore it reflects not only Japan's concept, but discussion was conducted regarding the exchange of strikes between Israel and Iran. And based upon the leaders' discussions, leaders decided to announce the statement. And in the statement, commitment of the G7 towards the peace and stability of the Middle East was underscored. And in that context, the leaders confirmed that Israel has the right to defend its own country. And therefore, regarding the series of behavior by Israel, it's not written in the statement that we recognize Israel's right to defense regarding the series of behavior conducted by Israel. And further, the leaders confirmed the importance of solving the Iran nuclear issue through consultation. Needless to say, Japan attaches importance to the de-escalation of the situation, and we believe that issues must be resolved through negotiations. On the 24th, the United States intervened to a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Iran, and we are strongly hopeful that the ceasefire agreement will be faithfully implemented. And U.S.-Iran consultations and E3 countries and many other countries are contributing to the resumption of the talks. But we truly hope that the dialogue will be resumed between the United States and Iran, and we will continue our diplomatic efforts.
Baba-san, Nikkei, please. Baba from Nikkei. I'd like to ask about fentanyl. It has surfaced through media coverage that there's a suspicion that there is a hub in Japan of a Chinese organization that is illegally exporting fentanyl. What is your take on this and future responses to this on the part of the government and the impact on the U.S.-Japan tariff negotiations is what I'd like to ask about. With regard to Nikkei's reporting, I am aware of this. Having said this, I will say the following. In our country, we are very stringent about our management control of fentanyl and other drugs. Now, this synthetic drug and other illegal drugs are such that we will by no means tolerate the export and import of such substances without permission, not to mention manufacture and sales and ownership and usage of these drugs. So having said this, on the part of Japan, fentanyl's international illegal manufacturing and the distribution network, we feel it's important to break this up and sever this to prevent further damage. That is our thinking. And for this purpose, international cooperation is indispensable. It is needless to say. So we'd like to continue to work with the U.S. and other relevant countries, UNODC, and other international entities. We will continue to work with them so that we can eradicate illegal drugs, including fentanyl. We will be positive in our initiatives With regard to the question on Japan-U.S. relations and Japan-U.S. consultations, I don't believe there are any effects at the present point in time. Thank you very much. We'd like to conclude the press conference at this point. Thank you very much.